Our communication focus this month is how to talk so the other person will listen. I'm Stacy Rocklein. We do one communication theme a month, 4 short videos, and an action you can take right away so that you can create deeper connections and less conflict. So unfortunately, one of the things that gets in the way of somebody being able to listen to us is when they don't care. People don't listen because they can't, they're incapable, or they don't want to. And sometimes people just don't care. Maybe they don't care about us at all. Maybe they don't care about the topic that we're talking about. But when someone doesn't care about what we have to say, they will not be listening to us. And it's really important that we figure that out earlier rather than later, or we'll spend a ton of energy trying to get them to care, trying to approach it from different ways, because we want to be understood, but we have to acknowledge when somebody else doesn't want to understand us. That matters. So if you start to feel uncomfortable in a situation, you start to feel like you're not being heard, you're not being listened to, ask yourself the question, does this person care about what I have to say? If the answer is no, then you got to make a decision here. This relationship has to change. It can go from one where you are communicating for understanding to one where you just communicate for practicality, like in the case of co-parenting with an ex, okay? Maybe the topic is just one that needs to be avoided, especially if it's something like politics. It's not really that important for a relationship. So ask yourself that question when you feel like you're not being heard. Does this person care about what I have to say? And if the answer is no, make a choice that's in your best interests because you deserve to be cared for in all of your relationships. So what gets in the way of people listening? One thing is a lack of safety. If I feel like there's a possibility that I'm going to be attacked or I'm going to be abandoned by another person in a conversation, then I'm going to go into self-protection mode. And I'm going to create my own safety. And I'm so busy doing this and protecting myself that I can't get to the next step, which is listening to the other person. And when we are safe, when we feel mentally and emotionally safe, then we can open up. And when we can be open, we can hear what they have to say. So what you can do is actually set this up when you have something that you want to talk to somebody about. When you've got something you want to share, you can try to create safety in that conversation by making sure that you are at the least threatening possible. The question I want you to ask yourself is, how can I deliver this in the least threatening way possible? Body language, tone of voice, the words you say. The people we know really well, we know what triggers them into a fear reaction, right? How can I be the least threatening possible so they don't have to waste all their time and energy protecting themselves, and they can get right down to listening to what we have to say so that we feel heard and we can actually get to the good stuff, right? So that's what you're going to do when you've got something important to share with someone. Try to create as much safety as possible by making sure that you aren't threatening. So let's talk about what gets in the way of listening, because that's really important to remove those obstacles. And one thing is, somebody can't listen when they don't feel valued, when they don't feel respected. You know how that feels? If you don't feel valued and respected, you do things as a response to that. Maybe you just turn away and you're like, whatever. Maybe you start problem solving or you start complimenting them because you want to prove that you're valuable, and they might just need you to listen, right? So if we can create that sense of value for the other person, they don't have to do all that stuff and they can get right down to listening to you. And you can do that by leading with a value statement. Tell them something that you appreciate about them. Tell them something you value about them. Give that to them up front so they know that that's true, and they can go, okay, that's already here. Now I can open up and I can listen to what this person has to say. So that's your action you're going to take this month. You're going to, next time you want to really get something across to somebody and you want them to hear you and you want them to listen, lead with a value statement. Tell them what you appreciate before you get started. So what gets in the way of someone else being able to hear us? And one thing is when they don't feel heard themselves. When we don't feel heard, what are we doing? We're thinking about the other person's talking and we're thinking about what we're going to say next and what we think about it and how what they're saying is going to affect us. We're wrapped up in our own thing because we don't trust that they're going to listen to us, or we don't have a history of feeling heard in this relationship. So what you can do so that you set that up so that they do feel that they're heard and then they're able to listen is listen first. Ask them questions first. Find out how they feel. When they start to feel like they're being heard, people naturally want to give the other person a turn and they want to hear about you. So you're going to lead with listening so that you can be listened to. That's the action that you're going to take. The next time you're in a conversation and you want to make sure the other person can hear you, hear them first, ask them questions, make sure that they know that you're listening, and they will have a much easier time listening to you. If you want to make sure you never miss one of these videos, you can go to stacyrocklein.com and sign up for our 10-minute time in. You'll get our monthly theme, the 4 short videos with the actions you can start taking right now to get closer to the people that you love.